Welcoming all professional wrestling fans to the PW Fan. The PW Fan is a pro wrestling podcast created by fans for the fans. This is episode 135. I am your host, collector, barber, and musician, Talk Wrestling, Tim Gilbert.
And I'm your host, the architect of pro wrestling podcast, Booker Andy.
Well, Andy's going to tell us what we're going to be talking about today, but before we get into all that, if you guys don't mind, go to youtube.com/@thepwfanpod, where we kindly ask you to like, subscribe, watch the videos, leave comments, do all that stuff. It really helps us out, bumps us up on the algorithm, lets people see our videos. For all other social media, Instagram, X, and TikTok, you just have to search at the PW Fan. And we have shirts on prowrestlingtees.com/thepwfan, getting some new designs made. I know we've been talking about that for a while, but we got 5 designs up there right now. So it's one of those things where we don't want to just keep putting stuff up there, you know, like you want to let some stuff sit for a while. But we do have some new stuff in the works. But I will say, although we have new designs up there, we might have to retire some designs soon. We got shirts all the way up there from year one, which, I'd love for them to stay up there, but there's really no incentive for anybody to get them.
Maybe a re-release one day.
Yeah, maybe we'll re-release it. But so if you're thinking about getting the year 1 or 2 shirts, I would say the Booker Andy shirt's going to stay up there. But if you were thinking about getting year 1 or year 2 shirts, get those sooner than later, because we are going to be updating our main pod design soon. All right, Andy, I'm going to pass it over to you and let you take it from here, my man.
Well, speaking of the social medias, TikTok is where I post a majority of content.
If you found us from our TikTok clips, that's all my man Andy right here. He runs that page. I was doing it for a while, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think what I was doing was working. So I think it did a little bit. And I was doing some ads and stuff, but I think Andy's been doing a better job with it. And so that's our TikTok guy. Andy's, if you found us through there, that's because of Andy.
Instagram, we kind of just share things, and then, to be honest, I know we have an X, but I can't tell you the last time we posted on it.
We'll tweet every now and then. The thing is with X, and I'll tell you why, that I'm few and far between on X. Instagram right now, I'm holding. If you're a listener of the show, let me explain a couple things. The Instagram's not going anywhere because, for one, if TikTok goes under with this law or whatever that they're trying to pass, obviously our main platform will go back to just being Instagram full time. So definitely follow the Instagram no matter what. The PW Fan Instagram, you need to follow that because that's not going anywhere. TikTok we love just because we can post quick video clips and get interactions pretty immediately. And it's cool to see what you guys like, what you guys don't really react to. The stuff that you guys do like, we definitely take notice. I'll say this about X though, and I know I was long-winded to get to my point here, but it's you hear a lot of people saying this. It's just really toxic on there and really negative. And, I feel like you put up your opinion about wrestling or something that you like or didn't like, and all of a sudden you're getting roasted by a bunch of people. I don't know. It's my least favorite social media environment. So
gets too hot.
Dude, it's not that. It's just we're being mean to each other over wrestling, guys. We're telling each other
the IWC is toxic as shit.
Yeah, telling somebody to dude, just kill yourself. You don't know anything about wrestling. That's fucking crazy, guys. Let's just chill. We're talking about dudes pretend fighting at the end of the day. And I know some people don't want to
RASSLIN.
I know some people don't want to hear that and they get mad, but insulting someone's children or trying to get them fired from their job or doxing people over wrestling, you guys gotta lighten up. I don't like X. I'm not a fan.
All right, well, let's get into the show. Episode 135. This week we're going to be talking about The story of the Wyatt Six continues to dive deeper into, I'll say this week about Bo Dallas. We're going to be talking about the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that AEW put on this past weekend, and since Money in the Bank is coming up, we're going to be doing some predictions at the end of the show and talking about much more in between all that. So let's get started. First, what I believe, I don't know how they can go farther than this, but was the final episode of Who Killed WCW this past week. I guess past Wednesday, maybe it came out. Episode number 4. There's only 4 episodes. This one covered you could say the buyout. There was a lot of what went on with television companies and just the passing around who's going to buy it, who's not. And then it also went into the final Nitro, which there was behind the scene footage that was filmed the last 2 days that had never seen the day of light.
I loved it. I thought that for me, who's watched a million WCW, NWO documentaries, Eric Bischoff, the end of Nitro, blah, 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 it was so sick to see something new that I had never seen before.
And then, I guess, finally it went into the stars from WCW making their way over to WWE after they were bought out. So, now that the show's over, Tim, who killed WCW?
That would be...
This is all an opinion.
The AOL Time Warner killed WCW. It was there. It was there. So for those who aren't familiar, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Ted Turner decided to merge with AOL Time Warner, and he lost. I'm keeping this very simple here, guys, but he lost majority vote of his own company. And he was the only guy really fighting for wrestling, and he was the only guy that really liked wrestling and wanted to keep it. And he basically was put in a position where he didn't have full control over his company anymore. So enough people basically said, we don't want this, get rid of it. And they admit that. A lot of these office guys, Brad Siegel has taken the brunt of Brad Siegel's a name I used to hear all the time in the Rise and Fall of WCW documentary, and I'd always be like, who the fuck is this guy? And all these years later, this guy's catching so much flack. Like Kevin Nash in his pod, it was the last episode. He says, "You want to know who killed WCW? This right here." And he turns his phone around or the iPad, and it's just Brad Siegel, chilling, on the screen. So, I think people like to think that because the television near the end wasn't great and there was bad booking decisions, that is the reason that it died. I just disagree as a fan because of, I hate to say it, but because of kind of what we're seeing right now with AEW. Just because if you have enough money and somebody's fighting for it enough to be around enough, it's going to be there. I feel like at the end, it was ultimately TNT, TBS's decision to say, we don't want, which is ironic because that's the channel that AEW is on now. It's so weird if you think about it, but it was ultimately their decision to say, we no longer want this on our network. But I also don't think, I think if it was getting great numbers and huge ratings still, that there would have been a little bit more of a debate about whether they should keep it or not. So the fact that Russo did fucking horrible booking decisions, and then Eric came back in, and honestly, he even admits that he didn't do a whole lot to try to stop some of Vince's really bad decisions, except for the ones that pertain to Hulk Hogan. I think that compounding, like getting bad ratings, WWF beating their ass in the ratings again, the show just not being good, ultimately, I think that plays a big factor into the corporate people deciding not to keep it on the air. Because if it was getting a 5.0, 4.0, 4 million people watching it every week, even if you didn't like wrestling and were bummed that it was your number one show, you'd have to argue, like, well, it's doing something for us, But since it wasn't doing good, I think it just was ammunition to pull the trigger and say, we're done with this. We already didn't like it. We were pissed that it was so popular, and now that it's not popular, you're done.
Well, didn't corporate also not allow them to push the boundaries?
Well, so when Vince McMahon, because Vince Russo gets talked about in this documentary quite a bit. When Vince McMahon started pushing the envelope with Vince Russo originally, they didn't have to answer. USA Network, you couldn't do whatever you wanted, but you had to, or they could get away with more and push the boundaries a little bit more. And every now and then USA might say, hey, that was a little too far. Can you not do that again? Or like something like that, But TNT, TBS, AOL, Time
Really,
Warner.
the buck stopped with Vince McMahon when it came to WWE. WCW did not.
So, and I'm trying to give like a quick synopsis here, but when Vince Russo leaves WWF and goes to WCW, he tries to bring that whole crazy off the wall mentality, throw stuff against the wall, see what sticks. But there's two problems. One, and this is the biggest problem. You didn't have Vince McMahon there to filter the ideas of Vince Russo. Vince Russo saying, I want to do Judy Bagwell on a pole. And Vince McMahon saying, all right, let's take the first part of your idea and let's switch that and do this. That was the magic of what made the stuff in the WWF good, because it was the collaboration of Vince Russo would throw a million ideas off the wall, and Vince would act as like a filter or a sifter and say, okay, well, this one sucks, this one sucks, this one's good, this one's good, this one sucks. But in WCW, like Andy said, the buck didn't stop anywhere. So if Vince Russo had a million bad ideas, all of these bad ideas were getting into on TV. There was no Vince McMahon saying, hey, this idea is pretty good, this one will be funny, this one sucks, we're not doing this one. There was no filter anymore, and ended up with a lot of really bad. You can see the stuff that has Vince Russo all over it if you go back and watch old WWF. Vince McMahon getting hit with a bedpan and Stone Cold saying, "I'll take it from here, nurse," and like a lot of like that type. You can see Vince Russo's fingerprints on that, but that wasn't without Vince McMahon editing those ideas, tweaking those ideas. Yeah. What you're seeing in WCW is the raw, unfiltered Vince Russo. Just horrible.
Well, we'll end it by saying I can only speak for myself. You can say how you feel. I really enjoyed the series. Like you, I've seen a lot of documentaries, and this was updated footage and interviews and some footage that had never been seen. And it told parts of the story that I hadn't heard before, so I really enjoyed it. Yes, and the book that we had talked about, Nitro by Guy Evans. Guy Evans was shown in the. He did a lot of talking during this. He was interviewed.
A lot of people know that I'm a big. Excuse me. I just sneezed right into the mic. I apologize to the people at home. That was not a very good radio host of me. But I felt it coming on. Yeah, a lot of people know I'm a big Cornette guy. He was like, who the fuck is Guy Evans to like talk in this? Look, if a guy does enough research on a topic, real research, writes a book that gets published, is well thought of, I think it qualifies him to talk on the subject. It's not like the Brian Alvarez Death of WCW tabloid book that we also touched on. But I want to say two things before we move on because we got a lot to get to still. I will be purchasing the death of, or not the death, I will be purchasing Who Killed WCW on Blu-ray for my people out there that still enjoy physical media, like Booker, Andy, and myself. And actually, I know Jeremy likes some physical media stuff too. All right. I'm going to give you guys a secret source. I don't do this kind of thing normally. We never tell you about the secret website, right? But I'm going to give you guys, for once, I'm going to tell you one of my secrets. I really hope I don't regret it. So if you guys ruin it for me, I'm going to be pissed.
The guy's going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right. So there's a guy, he goes by, I don't think this is his real name, so this helps. He goes by Jerry Jackson on Facebook, Jerry Jackson, and his logo, his Facebook profile picture is like an NWO type of like logo. So if you see that, you know you're on the right place. I DM him and he makes me custom copies of, so right here, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're not on video, I'll explain in a second. But he makes me custom copies of Dark Side of the Ring on Blu-ray. They look incredible. I have the first 3 seasons, or sorry, I have the first 4 seasons. I need to get season 5 still. So from Jerry, I need to get season 5 of Dark Side, and I need to get Who Killed WCW, because he makes these, and not only does he make them, and like the back looks, like has full descriptions and everything, but the disc has art, and then also he not edits in, but between, like, let's say you get a Dark Side of the Ring Blu-ray, right? And we watch one on Abdullah the Butcher. It'll have the Abdullah the Butcher episode, but then it'll have matches and segments and interviews from all the stuff that was brought up in the Dark Side. So it'll have like how WWE DVDs would put like so and so interview from 1989 or whatever, and it would just show the promo. He edits those like into the chapters. So if you want to get more detail, there's way more. So he also made the CM Punk Return to AEW Blu-ray that I have that has every single time Punk was on camera for anything AEW related. It has it all on there. So Jerry Jackson's the fucking man. If you want to buy it and own it, which I'm going to order it soon, yeah, he's got you. Jerry Jackson, everybody.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get into Raw from last week, I know we're recording the day after this week's Raw. Sometimes I hate that we're a week ahead, but this is what it is. Can't do it. Can't do a pod every day. I mean, maybe one day we can do something every day if we get big enough. But for now,
can I just throw this out there? And I know we've tried to keep things formal and be like, email the pod, email the whatever, and do like the stuff that like all podcast people do. But dude, if you're like an OG listener, because we see the numbers, we know that we've had like some people. There's at least 50 people that have been like day oneers. If you're one of those people, maybe you don't want people to. Maybe you're like a silent listener. You don't want to be acknowledged. You don't want us to bring you up on the air. That's cool. Please just shoot us an IGDM. Do something. Just let us know if you've been listening to the show for a long time. I mean, because literally, you all are the reason
consistently.
Why. Yeah, like if you're like, hey, I've been listening to it from episode 5 until now. It's cool that you guys have changed, or I miss when you guys used to do this. You guys gotta let us know that stuff.
The early episodes.
When we were all positive and happy.
Him giving us star ratings. We went through like every segment.
And was like,
show.
It was good. It was good. It was bad. It was good. We've come a long way. We joke around more, but now we just talk like normal people. We had to find our groove.
This week's episode, I wanted to say, of WWE Biography was RVD. It was an hour long with commercials. If you like RVD, I suggest checking it out. Before we started recording, I was actually in the middle of watching the newest episode, which was on the Steiner brothers. That was pretty interesting so far, so I'm going to finish that later tonight. But let's get into Raw from last week. I'm going to try my best to remember some things that happened. Again, I watched last night's Raw today, so I hope things don't get merged. But last week, Drew McIntyre opened up the show. This is coming off of him on SmackDown the week before when he attacked CM Punk. He was showing off his bracelet, his Larry and AJ bracelet that he stole from Punk. That Punk keeps on him anytime he's away. It's his way of being like Larry and AJ are still with him.
I need Andy. I need a Finney Remy, or I need a Remy Skylar Finney bracelet, MB girl that I wear anytime I'm away.
I was gonna say, don't forget about your other cat.
My B girl. Oh, my B. I
have
a
names to put on a bracelet.
Guys, I have a black cat who is very skittish, and I would say 80% of the time hides. It's just her personality, but she does love us, and she does come out. But a lot of the time, she's in hiding.
You might need 2 bracelets, one for your pets, one for your people.
Yeah, I got to do one for each hand.
Chad Gable was shown coming to the arena trying to be interviewed. He does not want to talk about what happened the week before with the attack with the Wyatts. Ludwig Kaiser would beat Braun Breaker via DQ. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to botch this. I feel like Sheamus got involved because he's been getting involved in all this stuff lately. I think this is the clip that happened when Braun Breaker was booking it around the ring and speared Ludwig Kaiser. If I'm not mistaken, kind of went viral.
I really like
talked
Braun.
about last week.
I think we're really not even seeing. He is untapped right now, dude. I mean, he's already very good. He reminds me a lot of a young Brock, where you knew he's I don't want to say sloppy because that makes it seem like I could get in there and do it better, but like he's a little like crazy. But like once he hones that in a little bit more, it's gonna be like, dude, he's the man.
So there was a good segment this past Monday with him and Sammy, and we'll get into that next week. But if you see that, Tim, I think you'll enjoy it. Damian Priest wants Dom to end things with Liv. This is kind of the continuing storyline with the Judgment Day. Lyra Valkyria would defeat Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane to go to Money in the Bank. Sami Zayn would challenge who's the champion. They did this with Damian Priest and Seth last week, or the other week, where Damian challenged Seth, the champion challenging the challenger, but Sami Zayn would challenge Braun Breaker at Money in the Bank for Sami Zayn's title. I guess just a shut up.
Just doing a quick pause, just because if you're still with us and you've been listening since the beginning of the episode, we did forget to mention that Jeremy, our boy, our partner, he'll be on at some point. He said maybe
he should be on really soon.
He should be soon. But we forgot to mention, we normally, when he has something to do or one of us has something to do,
he's still with us.
We mention at the beginning, like, oh, they're just taking care of this or that. But no, Jeremy will be here. He'll be here soon.
There's like, he didn't even mention this week. Is he going?
Like, damn, he's off. Dude, Jeremy's out. He's not on the show anymore. No, he's in forever, as long as he wants.
There was an in-ring segment with Liv Morgan. I think Zelina Vega got involved in this because a match was made for next week. Or I should say last night, though, is when it happened. Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega for the WWE Women's World Championship. Chad Gable would defeat Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman to go to Money in the Bank. Right after this match. So right now, if y'all don't know, it seems like not just that one attack, but
Amen. He appears. I believe in Talk Jeremy.
Hello, Jer.
We were literally just talking about you being like, he should be on soon.
Yeah, I know. I'm like 5 minutes after I said I was going to be on, but had a rush back. See, now we were recording on Tuesday right now, so like this is my night where I'm late. If we did it on Mondays, I'm good, and then Tim's late on Mondays.
So basically, I like to keep. I've been keeping the people updated on my daughter's sleeping saga over the last 6 months. Here's the latest is she's grown out of naps, but because we've grown out of naps,
Goes to bed a little earlier.
we are grumpy by the time 7:30, 8 o'clock hits, and we've been going to bed earlier, which is why last week I was able to jump on and do the intro, and then this week I was able to do it with you guys, because now that what happens is we'd wake her up at 4:30, 4:30 from nap time, and then it'd be a struggle to get her down before 9, so I'd be getting on the pod like late trying to get to, trying to put her down, but we're good now. I think things are settling in.
Yeah.
The turns have tabled.
I know. I just got back from my beach volleyball game today.
Did you win?
Did you flex?
No, we
While
did not.
did you flex while checking her watch? That's what Tom Cruise. I think it's either Tom Cruise or Val Kilmer, but somebody does it in Top Gun. They hit the volleyball and then they check their watch and flex.
Oh, yeah.
I was wondering what you were getting at. I was like, what?
I know. I was like, I don't remember that.
So we were in the middle of Chad Gable moving on to Money in the Bank, but after he defeated Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, we would see, I guess, are they calling her Sister Abigail? Well,
They haven't really said anything.
I think it's supposed to be Sister Abigail. We'll just
Like,
say
even
Sister Abigail.
Yeah, like
Look.
even it's supposed to be Sister Abigail, but like even like I don't know, last night we're not talking about
I
it
think they're
yet,
calling
but
it
like
this creature or something.
yeah, they're like this witch or something like that. I was like, okay,
all right, because I guess officially they haven't said any names like from the Wyatt Six, but
yeah,
so she brings out a VHS tape and hands it to Michael Cole. And Michael Cole says they're going to have to get to the production truck so we can watch it. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, it seems like the Wyatt Six right now is targeting Chad Gable. We got more on that this past week, last night, but of kind of the reason why. But we'll talk about that next week. Gable would be seen backstage though, and fails to reunite with the Alpha Academy. Damian Priest sees Liv leaving the Judgment Day lair, and it was only Finn Balor inside. There's still this stuff going on with Liv and Finn, secretly. And I'm going to say this now, I really think, especially after this week, Finn and Damian are going to be coming to head-to-head sometime soon.
We're not talking about this week though, Andy.
No, but they've been building. I'm just saying they've been building, not just last night, but
yeah,
it's slowly but surely. It's going to be
Jeff
Damian.
Hardy.
No, and if you've seen Jeff Hardy's videos of him singing,
Jeremy, have you seen the I Believe Jeff Hardy instead of Joe Hendry?
I haven't seen that one yet. No,
There's one where Jeff Hardy's in the woods and he's just like, I believe in Jeff Hardy.
looks like he's taking a piss in the woods and singing.
Dude, this one's really bad.
Andy, isn't this your favorite wrestler?
Jeff Hardy?
Yeah.
I mean, growing up, not current. No way.
Well, it's kind of like when you're a kid and you're like, dude, Hulk Hogan, and then you grow up and you're like,
yeah.
You're like, dude, Goldberg is my favorite wrestler, and then you grow up and you're like,
He's actually the worst kind of wrestler.
Right. Jeff Hardy was cool. That's why I liked him. He was cool.
He was cool.
I mean,
he was
he did
badass.
crazy stuff when I was into crazy stuff.
That's cool.
He was doing shit
He
people
did
weren't
all
doing.
the drugs, and he was so cool.
Yeah.
When you're a kid, you think human beings are invincible. So him throwing his body off of like a ladder, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's true. Yeah.
Now when I see it
a million times, and you're just like, please stop.
Now I'm over 30 and sore, and I understand what pain feels like. So I'm like, stop doing that, please.
Please don't jump.
Please don't do that. That's bad for you.
But continuing on, Liv was able to get the Judgment Day a tag title shot in the main event. There was a Damian Priest segment where Seth Rollins would interrupt, and a new Money in the Bank stipulation would be added. So, if Damian Priest wins against Seth Rollins can never challenge for the title while Damian Priest is champion. If Seth Rollins wins the title, then Whose cat's meowing right now?
It's Mike.
Dude, I
No,
love
no,
it.
we can hear them.
Dude, it's so awesome. Dude, I'm such a big cat guy. Look at him. Oh, he's a baby. Oh, he's beautiful.
He wouldn't stop me out.
Look, we got a cat and a puppy. Where's my 2 cats? They're out there somewhere.
They don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, but if Seth Rollins wins, Damian Priest has to leave the Judgment Day. So 2 stipulations added to the Money in the Bank, because Damian Priest would end up saying, "This is the only quote that I
over
remember."
there. He's purring.
Did you hear this too?
He's like,
didn't know you could hear all this.
The only quote I can remember from this segment is that Damian Priest said that the Judgment Day need him more than he needs the Judgment Day, and that's basically where the stipulation kind of came from.
I don't know. Track, I think that no, it's good. Someone needs to do it. But I think that since Rhea's been gone, I don't know, man. I don't see the Judgment Day being around much longer, to be honest with you. But they have to keep it around long enough for Rhea to come back and be mad that Dominic like flirted with Liv or whatever.
Yeah, well, that's soon, right? Because she's kind of isn't she back, or is like she's gonna be back?
I don't know. She got married. I know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they usually get like a few weeks off, right, or something like that.
Okay, let's talk about this. The VHS was played, man, and I was not expecting to see Bo Dallas.
Oh,
Bo
yeah.
Dallas kind of had a therapy session with Uncle Howdy, and what I've realized, and I think everyone else
great. This was awesome.
Uncle Howdy to Bo Dallas is the Fiend to Bray Wyatt, right? It's their other alternate personality. I can't wait to talk about last night, because then it was really kind of confirmed.
Yeah.
So in this segment, I mean, a lot went.
Do you want to? Do you just want to like? We'll talk about it next week. But do you want to just say like, just because the episode's going to drop and then we'll be a week behind. Do you just want to like give a little hint to what they did last night, so that way we can give the people come back?
Well,
next
so
week?
I'll talk about last week and last night's, I guess, because it felt like a continuation from.
I just don't want it to be.
week.
For stuff like this, I just don't want us to be like very behind. It's important.
So the first VHS tape, because there was another VHS tape given last night and played. First VHS tape, we get a reveal of actual Bo Dallas for the first time, out of character, talking with Uncle Howdy. They're sitting across from each other, and Uncle Howdy's voice is distorted, and a lot was talked about. Some of the things that was said was basically asking Bo Dallas how he dealt with the death of Bray. And he kept talking about how they forgot about us, and that him and Bray had all these plans. Right? Am I on the right track, guys?
No, yeah,
Okay.
I mean, you're killing, and I just want to add in as a side note that I was like, God damn, everybody knew that Bray Wyatt was fucking great on the mic and could talk his ass off. So when you got somebody that's that good, and then you have a guy who's his brother who comes in, my first thought is, oh God, is he going to be able to like pull this off and like hang in there, and like, is it going to be bad, or like, is it going to be cheesy, or is it going to be good? And I thought he killed it. Like, I was like, dude, Bo is hanging in there right now. He's channeling his inner Bray.
Do you guys remember like when it was Bray and Matt Hardy like together as a tag team, and it was Bo and I forget who else they made fun of them?
Curtis Axel, and they dressed up as him.
Yeah, and like Bo did like a really good Bray impression.
Yeah.
And so I watched clips of those before, and I was like, I forget how good he is at doing that already. And so it's like translates just into like him doing it seriously now.
He's not being Bray in this, but
yeah, but like instant like that, like he can talk in that way.
He can do that vibe.
Yeah,
he
can do it not joking. He can do it serious.
Yeah, in a serious way. Yeah.
So, to describe last night's VHS tape, This is straight from Bleacher
We'll do
Report.
the
I'm going to
full,
read
we'll
what
do
they.
the full review next week, but just give us something.
I'm just going to read what Bleacher Report wrote about it, okay? Because it sums it up fine. It says, in the latest videotape featuring Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas, fans were treated to the reveal that the latter was talking to himself the entire time. All right. So that's the first sentence, and then I'll go from here real quick. So at the end of the videotape, it shows them fading back and forth, and eventually it just shows Uncle Howdy talking to no one in the chair.
Okay,
At
so
one
he's
point,
doing a
goes Bo
little,
Dallas talking to no one.
Fight Club type
Yeah.
deal
Fight
going.
Club, yeah.
So to continue what Bleacher Report said, it said, okay, so there's a quote from Bo Dallas during the segment. It says, we're the ones everyone wanted to forget about. We made them notice us. So I don't know. I guess that's talking about Bo. That's talking about Eric Rowan, I guess forgotten about. Dexter Loomis kind of forgotten about. Nikki Cross definitely forgotten about. And Joe Gacy did kind of fall to the wayside in NXT creative-wise. So after that quote, it says, Dallas said, when asked if he thinks he is special, to which he responded that to believe he is special is to suggest that there are those who deserve to be forgotten. And then after saying that, Uncle Howdy says, there you are, in response, realizing he had exposed the real Dallas to the world. The video became grainy and warped at times as it was revealed that Dallas and Howdy are one and the same. We already knew that, but the manner in which it was executed was compelling, and any doubts about Dallas's ability to carry this act should be erased at this point, which is what we were kind of saying.
Yeah. Also, real quick, I thought of this because I know both of you guys, especially Tim, listened to Cornette. Did you guys hear what he said about this?
He does not like this stuff, Tim said.
This idea.
So I've actually, before you got on last time, and then actually, when you got on, before you got on this time, that's been twice now, where I said, look, dude, I love me some corny. I think that I did, for the first time ever in 3 years of doing this podcast, the last episode, I finally just defended the guy and just was like, if you guys think that he's like some like fucking like racist, homophobic guy, like you need to listen to his show. And but that's all I'll say about it on this episode. But I will say his last few opinions on a couple things, I've actually disagreed. I disagreed with him about this. And then Andy, what was the one that I just said earlier that I disagreed with him on? I had brought it up specifically.
I thought it was this you were saying. You
I
mean
thought
today?
I thought I had brought some up earlier because I said I was like, I know I'm a Cornette guy, blah blah blah. It was right before.
I don't remember you saying anything.
But yeah, like I don't agree with him here. I think this works.
Yeah. I just remember him saying like, "This is the best thing that happened to AEW" or something like that. He made like reference to that.
Here's the thing: he actually thinks like what it is not bad. Like he's like, what it is not like it's good. But his thing is, which is where I disagree with him. He was like, if you want to make a horror movie, go make a fucking horror movie. But like, he's not saying that it sucks. He doesn't think it's good in wrestling.
Yeah.
But I disagree, and I actually think it works because we've seen it work with other stuff. Undertaker,
Now let me ask this. This is on my mind with the Wide Six. Since we're talking about what happened last night, he's talking about leaders that let down their people, right? That's kind of why he's going after Chad Gable. And they're basically saying that they're all need. He said, I'm the reckoning, right? Is what Bo Dallas kept saying. I am the reckoning. Wide Six versus Bloodline?
I know, I saw that too. I was like, that'd be amazing.
The problem is, if you had done Bloodline like a year ago, it would have been way stronger. Right now, it's not that it wouldn't be strong. It's just like, what is the Bloodline right now? There's so much change happening. You know, are we talking the new Bloodline? are you guys talking about Roman and the
Talking
Usos?
about it would make sense new bloodline because Solo. The reasoning that the Wyatts are going after people is because the people in charge of these groups have kind of
It failed.
failed and failed of who they are, and
But then
kind of
who
come up with
would
power.
win? It would have to be the
I'm not saying
Wyatts.
it's going to happen. I'm just saying the idea. I don't mind the idea.
Yeah,
I don't think
but I
that's
don't
what's
think
going to happen. They're on
it
different
wouldn't
shows.
work until like after they do like the Roman
Monday.
versus Solo stuff.
Yeah. We'll talk more about Wyatt's next week, but main event of Raw was JD McDonough and Finn Balor facing Awesome Truth for the tag titles. Liv Morgan would distract R-Truth, who thought Liv Morgan was Carmella. And we would have new tag champs. Judgment Day have beaten Awesome Truth, who won their tag titles at WrestleMania. I will say this week, speaking of WrestleMania, tomorrow night, actually, Wednesday, the WrestleMania Behind the Curtain documentary is finally dropping. I'm going to hold off.
Oh yeah, The Rock approved it.
I'm going to hold off and wait for The Rock, to watch it until I'm with Tim when we watch Money in the Bank. They had a really cool preview last night for it. It was like a 5-minute clip of like something from the documentary.
Andy,
Triple H, yeah.
So
Andy,
Triple H.
Should we real quick, just because we did hang out over the weekend to watch Forbidden Door, should we tell the people about our Super Smash Brother excursion, about our terrible teams that we made to
we
face
can
people?
do that super quick. So Tim's been into Nintendo 64 real hard lately.
Like for like
sometimes
4
he
months,
plays Smash.
like half the year. Like
so sometimes he plays old Smash. Well, I have the Switch, and Tim has not played a Smash since Melee. And so I brought over my Switch and Super Smash Ultimate, which has like 4 or 5 times the amount of characters, maybe 6 times than the original Smash in it.
And I had
the
to
level amount is
I had to hook up my N64 wireless controller to Andy's Switch to even know how to play, because I was like, I don't feel like relearning how to play Smash Brothers
on the Switch controller. So we played against each other, then we played as teams, and then like I don't know how it started, but then I guess Tim played as Wario and realized like what a weird, wonky character he is. So then me and Tim just started being what we thought would be like the worst character.
We thought it would be funny to pick like worst characters possible and then face like cool characters.
But...
Yeah, we won, but it was What were some of the bad ones? Who's
Wario just like farts all the time. He does like a bunch of farting and shit.
Wario just farts and like he does like a butt pound. That's like his only move. And then
was Wii Fit Trainer, that was fun.
Wii Fit Trainer, dude, is the shit. Best character ever in Smash.
Up.
Dude, he like he does like hula hoops and he like prances around all happy. It's
Isabelle from Animal Crossing was terrible. Tim was Lucas from Earthbound.
Yeah, was
Ness. If you like
Ness
playing as Ness, good for you, but he's just like Ness, and I hate playing as Ness. So
oh my god,
Pika Fire.
But that was fun. We were losing our shit. We were laughing so hard.
Just picking the worst teams possible, but that was fun.
That was one. That was funny.
Is that all right? So that's Raw. Is that a good transition into Forbidden Door? Or are we not there yet?
Well, we just finished.
We're not there.
We just finished Raw. We have to get to Dynamite, Smackdown. Let's. But okay, AEW this week go home shows. I'm going to be quick about it. MJF would open up the show of Dynamite. Daniel Garcia would come out. They were in Buffalo, New York, I believe. Maybe.
I think so. In New York, I think somewhere.
They were in New York. Both these guys from New York, different parts though. And Daniel Garcia and MJF basically was going to give him a match to prove himself again. Will Ospreay would come out and kind of take over that spot and say, "I'll give you a title match next week." Jay White would defeat Rey Fenix to advance in the Owen Hart tournament. The Elite would challenge the Acclaim to a trios match at Forbidden Door. Tanahashi would appear on screen to be revealed as the third partner for the Acclaim. Mina Shirakawa would accidentally hit Mariah May with a bottle instead of Toni Storm. Mariah May's been stuck in between these two because they're both of her friends. And then Zack Sabre Jr. would defeat Kyle O'Reilly in a really good match. I saw some quote online, like, if these two guys don't go into coaching wrestling after they retire, they're not the knowledge that will be lost with these kind of guys. It'll be a sad day, basically.
Yeah, they need to.
Yeah.
And that quote,
so that was a really good.
That quote was from Dave Meltzer.
Was it?
No. Just
I don't remember. I saw the quote, but I don't remember who it was from. Sorry.
And then after he said it, Dave actually cried.
And it's like 5-star coaching.
And he shed real tears. And then pooped himself.
I'm going to skip SmackDown for now. I'm going to do SmackDown Live before Forbidden Door. Rampage, El Phantasmo, who I'd never even heard of, defeats AR Fox to earn the final spot in the TNT ladder match. And then on Collision, Hikaru Shida defeats Deonna Purrazzo to advance in the Owen Hart tournament. And Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland have a weigh-in segment, which the weigh-in was fine, but the promo back and forth afterwards. And then with Will... they start getting each other's face and then get separated, and then Will Ospreay comes and books it towards Swerve and hits him with the hidden blade. And knocks Swerve out on stage. I thought that was a cool ending.
That hidden blade move looks so cool. Like, it looks like he kills the people.
Good, yeah.
When
he does it well, it looks really cool. Okay, so that was all of AEW minus Forbidden Door. Let's get into SmackDown. It was a big SmackDown because they were in Madison Square Garden. And there's always a big show in Madison Square Garden. Sometimes it's only a WWE live event, which is disappointing. And something always goes down. You have to see like shittily filmed clips from it. Like when I guess Roman put Brock onto the steps, then like powerbombed and like
there was like the cameras like going like this and shaking and everything.
So Madison Square Garden, it started off with the Bloodline getting out of their cars, one camera shot, going straight out to the ramp. Then the screen shows Cody, KO, and Randy Orton all get out of a big like Escalade suburban thing. I was gonna say car, but whatever. And they make their way right out there, and then a brawl ensues between all of them. Kind of goes all over the place before it's broken up. So that was how the show started. It started off exciting. Tiffany Stratton would defeat Jade Cargill and Candice LeRae to go to Money in the Bank. LA Knight would defeat Santos Escobar and Logan Paul to go to Money in the Bank. Two basketball players, don't remember their names off the top of my head. One was from the Knicks and one was from the Pacers. Would get involved in the match. The one from the New York Knicks would be on LA Knight's side, I guess you could say, and then the guy from the Pacers would be
it was
on Logan Paul's side.
Jalen Brunson from the Knicks and Tyler Halliburton from the Pacers.
And that's why you're here. We had a video package for Sika, who passed away this past week.
That was a really good video package.
Yeah, and they played it again on Raw. I'm sure they played it tonight on NXT. Naomi would defeat Blair Davenport and Indy Hartwell to go to Money in the Bank. And then, oh God, I wish Tim was back in the chair for this. I really the Bloodline Acknowledgement Ceremony. So,
yeah.
Maybe I can find it, some stuff from it really quick. Because I remember like a lot of how it ended. I want to talk about how it started. I do know, I will say, because this will come later, that Jacob Fatu was not shown all night, and it was told that he was not there up until this segment.
Also, Heyman.
Heyman looking
purposely
did not shave. Heyman
did not shave. Did not dye his hair.
Made his eyes red and his hair dyed.
He I don't know if this is true. I've seen everyone saying it, but like I haven't seen anything confirmed about it. But like they say he deprived himself of sleep on purpose, so his eyes looked all red like that. I don't know if that's real because that can just be makeup, but I believe that Heyman would do that.
Well, yeah. So as Jeremy's saying, yeah, eyes were red, looked bloodshot. I don't know how, if it wasn't real and it was makeup or something, or I don't know how you do that. I mean, Paul Heyman's the MVP of this fucking segment.
He is.
Right there.
Like,
So
it's crazy.
before we get into the end of it, so the main event segment this week, again, reading from Bleacher Report, because sometimes they put in better words than me. The main event segment this week was the Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony to officially make Heyman the wise man for Sikoa. I believe that this was what was supposed to be the opening segment, and Cody KO and Randy ruined it. And so it had to be pushed to the main event, storyline-wise. The new tribal chief promised Heyman that Jacob Fatu was not there, and he took his advice about him being too violent for the group. As soon as they got to the ring, Sikoa welcomed Jacob Fatu to the ring, revealing that he was lying earlier. He stared right at a shocked Heyman as Jacob Fatu came to the ring. Fatu, Tama, and Loa would acknowledge Sikoa as their tribal chief, but Heyman hesitated. He said he loved Solo, but he said, I acknowledge. So this is as he's holding the lei, the red lei that.
Yeah.
No, they don't call it a lei. That's Hawaiian. They call it beads.
I'm not sure.
Well, the red beads.
Does Tim know?
Tim, do you know the lei that the tribal chief wears? What it's called?
Oh God, no! And I don't want to say anything wrong either. I would call it a lei, but I know that's not the.
That's what I said.
Jamie's gonna look that up real quick.
I'm looking. I feel like it's called beads, but like ceremonial beads. But it's called the ulafala. Is the
that sounds
a ceremonial necklace?
Primarily, the ulafala is worn by the high chief of clans, making them look distinguished from the rest of the crowd. And this is why Peter Maivia used to wear it, and so did Umaga. And now we saw Roman Reigns wear it for a long time before it got snatched by Solo Sikoa.
So,
thank you, Google.
Heyman says, I acknowledge that you are not my tribal chief.
And he looked
crazy.
He looked like he was about to die during this segment.
Jeremy was just saying that he doesn't know how true it is, that Heyman purposely deprived himself of sleep
to look like that.
I believe
I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, I mean, like, Heyman, of all people, I'd be like, yeah, he would do that.
And not shaved for a couple days and, like, looked real tired.
Yeah, not shaved. Yeah.
Solo would hit him with a Samoa spike, and then they would end up power bombing Heyman. And he took it well through the commentary table.
I like a few weeks ago when Punk was like, "Are you all right? You don't look so good."
Yeah.
So I sent you all the video, and I showed you, Tim. The long-term storytelling is crazy. I mean, at the time that some of those early videos,
crazy,
when Roman was still in charge, talking about Solo, like, I just like put it to the backside. But man, did they? Yeah.
They had Inception layers. How you do it. They had Inception layers of storytelling in there, dude.
So it was I thought it was a really good SmackDown in Madison Square Garden, especially the ending. The ending was super good.
Very good. And they had 17,000 people there. It's crazy.
WWE's on fire.
Let me ask you guys: do you guys want to end with Forbidden Door or end with Money in the Bank predictions?
Either one, doesn't matter.
We can end with Money in the Bank.
Yeah, end with Money in the Bank predictions.
All right, Forbidden Door. I'll say off the top of the show, new pay-per-view was announced. Wrestle Dynasty. I guess this is going to take place around the time of Wrestle Kingdom. That is going to be another Forbidden Door-like pay-per-view. It's going to be AEW, New Japan, Stardom, ROH, CMLL. I think that's it. I don't think AAA is involved.
Andy said, "Oh, okay. On this one, all the New Japan guys win." I was like,
"Yeah, that's what I said." I said, "Yeah,
yeah." It's in Japan.
Yeah,
that's actually a big deal, isn't it? That CMLL is working with New Japan like that?
I think it's
like those two like didn't not like each other.
I'm just why is like AAA not involved, but
or it could be AAA. I don't know.
No, it's
one of those like
AAA wasn't on this
is
pay
it?
per view. They weren't on Forbidden Door.
Oh, okay. So it was CMLL.
This pay per view was CMLL, AEW, Forbidden Door. It was everyone that's going to be on Dynasty. Every company involved in Dynasty was involved in Forbidden Door.
Conan.
And I gotta say, our predictions last week pretty on point with this pay per view.
Yeah, that's right.
I was saying Conan's down in AAA right now booking, and he's like, "We got to get Toni Storm down here because she's a pug, so like the guys will really be into her."
Oh my god.
There was something that happened. I'll talk about it when it did, but I called it before it happened. Then Tim looks at me. He's like, "Booker Andy."
Booker Andy.
It was the return. I called out
the
like,
Mercedes
come on.
moment.
Yeah, I was like, "Come on!" And then
yeah.
I was like,
I was waiting for it.
Okay, so this was a pre-show match. I'm not going to talk about them all because I didn't see it. I didn't see any of the pre-show, actually. I was hanging out with my niece and with Tim and his wife. But Mariah May would defeat Saraya to advance in the Owen Hart tournament, which is surprising to me because Saraya won the title at All In. And the finals for the tournament are taking place at All In. So what, is she not going to be at All In, or they have other plans for her? I don't know.
I don't know. She fell off pretty fast, though.
Very fast. A year ago, she was champion. Not for very long, but I get why they gave her the belt at All In last year.
Yeah.
Okay. MJF versus Heche Cero from CMLL was the opening match. Tim did not know who Heche Cero is. He was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
I said,
well, just like when MJF was like, "I'll wrestle some Japanese or Mexican guy at the show."
Yeah. Jeremy, I'm gonna have you talk about some of these matches because I feel like one, you've seen some of them, and two, a lot of these matches, Forbidden Door is a pay-per-view with lack of stories. So to me, it's kind
just
of
matches.
like matches, indies. What'd you think of this match?
This one was pretty good, I think. I actually kind of like it's more about MJF
They were in
for
Long
me.
Island, right?
Yeah, they were in Long Island. I think that's a huge
MJF.
part of it was the crowd in a lot of these matches too. And they're obviously like way behind MJF, so I feel like that makes it like 10 times better. But I don't know. MJF
styles for sure.
Yeah. What do you like?
Didn't
what do you think about
like something from a bunch of different wrestlers during this match?
Yeah. I was gonna say like people don't understand like I don't think people understand how good a wrestler MJF is actually because he's really good on the mic, but people don't understand how good he is in wrestling.
I saw him do a Frankensteiner from the ground, just jumped up.
Dude,
yeah, he's like athletic.
This makes me think of this. So there's this other local band who actually like I'm giving them a hard time, but they like wrestling too, and in between one of their songs they put the MJF, and unlike all those boys in the back, I don't have to do bullshit to make you feel something. They put that as like a interlude between one of their songs, and I was like, hey, that's my thing.
That's my thing. I put the wrestling clip.
I'm the wrestling clips guy. All right, everybody take her easy.
Now, Jeremy, I want to pick your brain because me and Tim, I asked Tim during this thing, he's like, "Fuck, I don't know. What is MJF's finisher?"
Dude, what is his finisher?
Now that you asked that, I
know it was people up, but like
it was the salt of the earth, like the arm bar basically thing that he used to do. Okay. I haven't seen him do it in like a while now.
It's good.
I don't know what else he does.
I know.
He's just so good on the mic that it doesn't even matter what else he does. Like it's just
yeah, I didn't even like.
He's like the Rock.
He like made that. Yeah, he made that Salt of the Earth move a big thing, and then he had the ring, and he would always like cheat and win that way.
I said his finisher was the knockout with the ring.
Yeah, but now he's like he doesn't do that anymore, so I don't even know what his finisher would be.
then it's like kangaroo kick, and then it's like that.
He's like, no more kangaroo bullshit.
And then it was a headlock takeover.
Headlock takeover, yeah.
So the winner
double
was
clothesline.
MJF. Winner was MJF. Second match was Tanahashi and the Acclaim versus the Elite. Tim right off the back was like, the Bucks look fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I was not liking the gear. I wasn't in.
I didn't like it. This match really didn't do too much for me. Like, I don't know. Like, Tanahashi is good, but he was great. But you can just tell he's like older now.
You know what I thought looked the best during this match? Anthony Bowens is great.
Anthony Bowens could be a singles wrestler, I think.
I said this while we were watching. I was like, Anthony Bowens is crushing it right now.
He's very good
during some of the parts.
Like the moments when he gets like the hot tag and he's going through everyone. It's like he has like a lot of great movesets. I think.
Yeah. The Elite would end up winning. I'm not sure. Do you think that they're going to end up doing the Elite versus Acclaim, just a regular 2-on-2,
like
at All In?
What All In?
Big tag teams can go against the Elite right now.
I'm not FTR. No, they're not going to do that again. The House of Black. I don't know. What happened to the tag division? They used to have so many teams.
I don't know.
That's weird. But you're asking me these questions. I'm like, I didn't even think about this for AEW.
That's where my head goes. So the Elite would win. Owen Hart Foundation tournament, first round match. Bryan Danielson versus Shingo Takagi. Winner was Bryan Danielson. Jeremy, thoughts? Again, sometimes when I'm watching stuff with Tim, we're talking back and forth.
Yeah.
Some stuff we're not 100% focused in.
I did like this match. I'm glad, obviously, that Danielson won.
Danielson's
it wasn't
going
like
to the finals. Let's just say that.
Yeah,
I would love it to be Jay White versus Danielson in the final match.
That would be great
of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's what
what was I gonna say? Oh, people were like they have to do like a Montreal screw job for Danielson, except it's like the opposite way where like they screw him into winning like a big thing, like the trophy or whatever, or a title, because he never wants to win any of these things.
Oh yeah, true.
But I feel like AEW needs him to have like a title or something.
But also all these Jeff Jarrett video packages, I'm like, shit, Jeff Jarrett needs to win.
I know. Yeah, Jeff Jarrett. He's doing like these crazy promos. I was like, fuck. No.
These emotional video packages of him with like Owen Hart. I'm like, God. Jeff Jarrett needs to win.
I think Jeff Jarrett needs to win, and I think Jeff Jarrett's gonna win.
You think?
Yeah.
You know what I would love to see? I kept thinking, like, because of how Nigel McGuinness talks about Bryan Danielson on the commentary every time, I was like, maybe we get Nigel McGuinness out of retirement for Danielson's like last match as a full-time wrestler at
Wembley. I'm marking out for that.
At Wembley?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be great, but
I mean, Tony, if he books that's crazy.
They were rivals when he was an active wrestler.
I watched and we've talked about it before. There's been many versions made, but there is one he made himself of Nigel McGuinness. He being pronouns pal. He made this documentary. Made one. They have their version, but he made his own.
One. Yeah.
And it's weird now because I'm back to like playing music again. But I saw this documentary at like this weird time in my life where I kind of gave up being in a band and was like, all right, it's not working out. I need to get the real job, brother. And I watched this documentary, and in the documentary, he was just talking about how, not everybody's dreams come true. And sometimes you can do all the right things and work super hard and, do everything that you're supposed to do, and it still doesn't happen for you. And man, when I don't know if I needed to hear that at that time, but like it helped me know that I wasn't the only one like going through. Like I wanted my band to be like a Warped Tour band. I wanted to go like be in the van, and it was like, and you you travel around and you make no money, you do all the right things, and sometimes it still doesn't happen for you. And that documentary actually means a lot to me. So I would actually really enjoy seeing him wrestle another match.
But this is what it would be, because I think maybe it's All Out is going to be, but like it's sometime soon. It should be, to me, it should be All In. Sometime soon it will be Danielson's last match as a full-time wrestler. He might do like the Undertaker shit where he pops in and out.
That would be cool if they
If
have
you
that.
could have him as last match as a full-time wrestler and Nigel McGuinness's final real last match on his terms.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
But he talks that shit about Bryan Danielson every single week on commentary.
So
He does. And it's like, did you hear the last one? He said something about like he tried to go like vegan or whatever, but he couldn't give up eating brie.
Oh
Like,
my
his wife.
God.
Not our quote. Not our quote.
That was
We didn't
Nigel
say it.
McGuinness.
Also, hey, let's talk about commentary real quick. Taz
I love Taz.
He's hilarious.
Taz talking about copyright and
Yeah.
getting heated.
I feel like half the things that Taz says is like he should not be saying on commentary, but he just does it.
Dude,
Yeah,
he
dude, there was
was.
one time, there's a video on TikTok, him getting heated with Tony Schiavone. He's like, chill out, dude.
He's like, he called him bro. He's like, bro, and he's like, don't bro me.
He's like, tell me to watch the match. I'm the one calling the match.
Tell me, chill out, dude. Yeah, but he was saying things about like copyright and like someone did like a Taz move or something. I don't know, man.
Oh,
There's a
that's
bunch of
funny.
shit.
No, he said.
Corey
He
Graves
said
said the Taz quote on Twitter, and he was not happy about it because he just trademarked. It was the quote that's like something something survive if I let you.
Oh,
I can't remember. But the ending is survive if I let you. But yeah, so he wasn't happy about it. So I think Excalibur
Beat me if you can, survive if I let you. That's
beat me if you can, survive if I let you. But so Excalibur said something to him like, "Oh wait, are you gonna copyright that too?" Or he's like, "Yeah, I'll
copyright
sue
that
it."
too. Yeah.
And then Chaz is like, "Yeah, I'll sue his ass."
Tim was like, "Wait, go back. We have to rewind and hear what
My boy was salty. You could tell.
Okay, moving forward. AEW Women's World Championship match: Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. Winner was Toni Storm. Match was fine. The Mercedes Moné match I thought was much better, which we'll get to. But the takeaway is after
Andy, how
Toni
do you
Storm
say her
won,
name? How do you say her name?
Mina Shirakawa.
No,
Mina
Mercedes.
Moné.
Mercedes
Monet.
And I was about to say the return, but that's not at this match. That's at the other women's match.
Yeah, we're not talking about that yet.
Yep. No. This next match did not give a shit about. Did not pay attention to. I can't stand Jericho. It was
You don't like the learning tree?
Dude, it was all of the learning tree against Samoa Joe, Hook, and Shibata. Tim seemed to tell me and his wife that Shibata had his brain removed, but didn't want to say that it was put back in. It was put back in though, but the way you said you're like he had his brain removed. He never like finished that part.
Like he just didn't have a brain anymore, and he's just resting.
I meant like during a surgery, he actually had that shit taken out. That's crazy.
He did.
Yeah. Well, Shibata was supposed to not wrestle ever again. It was like one of those.
So I'm gonna be honest. Barely even watched this match. I know there was please retire chants.
Yeah, there were.
And
that's like
isn't his second home Long Island, New York, because of his dad and the Islanders?
Yeah, but no one really cares about that. I think.
Guys, we've talked about it before. I don't care if you don't like Chris Jericho or not. Fuck the please retire chant. I don't like it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
You know who I do like? I like Big Bill.
I like him. Yeah, he's really come into like his own like kind of character. I think.
Him acting this way, because they're all acting super nice except for Bad Apple Brian Keith. Big Bill acting this way cracks me up. Chris Jericho, I just fucking hate. And
Chris Jericho's annoying doing this though.
Yeah, I don't think. I keep reading like this gimmick is not as good as Jericho thinks it is.
No, Jericho probably thinks he's like, this is going over really well,
He says it's
guys.
the best shit he's ever done. I'm like, you're fucking crazy. I've said it before on here. Like that's what he thinks.
I think one of the best things he's ever done was the list with Kevin Owens.
That was the
That was,
funniest.
I mean, that was definitely one of the best.
And this is not even close to that.
I had an underrated one that I liked for a while. He didn't do it very often, but I used to quote it all the time. Which one was it, Andy? It was around the time of the list. He'd be like, he's like, do you understand what I'm saying to you right now?
Oh. He would like say every letter of those words.
Yeah, like he only did it a few times because I think he like thought that it like wasn't working or not getting over, but I actually thought it was hilarious. Do you understand?
I also liked his gimmick when he came back when he came back and he was in the suit. I like that gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was one of the first ones to do that suit.
Against
as like
Shawn,
a heel.
like during that feud with HBK, that was good.
That was a good feud.
Where he actually punched Shawn.
I mean, the suit thing,
Yeah.
the suit thing really comes into play with like the Horsemen, and then Evolution brought it back. But yeah, Jericho, like, it was so out of character for him to be wearing a suit that it really made it like stand out.
Yeah.
And short hair. He came back with short hair.
Yeah, short hair, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever. I don't know how you feel about this match, Jeremy. Me and Tim really
I didn't really care about it either.
Because of Jericho. I know you.
But anything with like the luring tree stuff, like Dynamite, I'm mad that they have
he has, like,
multiple
4 segments. Sometimes it's all like backstage.
I hate it. When he was talking about the tape, he's like, no, he's like, who rolled that tape for you? And I was like, I hate this so much right now.
He's like, listen, guys, if you want, he's like, what you need to do is take tape from here so you don't have to pay for it later. Bye, guys.
He's like, thanks, guys.
Oh, dude, it's all right. I'm excited to talk about this match because there was fucking crazy shit. The ladder match.
Oh, this one was crazy. Yeah,
like, there were some spots we were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
This I'll just say this had, I think, probably the best table break. I think when they put the guy through a table, but
yeah, but
I
said this about that same table spot, Jeremy. Go back and rewatch it. The back of his head hits the sturdy part of where like the legs are, so like when the table collapses, his head is just going straight down into like the steel. But it was crazy.
That's probably why it looks.
I don't know how you all felt about this pay-per-view as a whole. As a whole, I don't think it was as good as some of the ones they've put on lately. I actually liked fewer matches on this pay-per-view than I did.
Let me play devil's asshole for a second here. I don't think that. Instead of advocate, devil's asshole.
I'm saying I like way more matches on the last pay-per-view than I did on this pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I don't think this...
That's true.
You know, it's interesting, right? Like, sometimes we watch Dynamite and we're like, what the fuck was that? But, like, I still think the shows that we're paying for are pretty good.
I mean, yeah, I would say it's
I'm
still good.
In comparison to, say, Revolution or Double or
Nothing. Like, Revolution to me is like a step above this one.
And even in the press conference, they were talking about how good Revolution was. The press conference for this show.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, we were saying, like, you can't go into it cold, and you got no stories. It's not going to have the same. It's not going to hit the same.
You gotta. Me and Tim had to kind of be like, okay, we're about to watch a pay-per-view that has no story.
Just wrestling. We had to like watch it from the perspective of like
just wrestling.
There's some stories, but
it's kind of like when you go to an indie show. It's like, I'm here to watch wrestling. I might not know all the guys. Really know these guys. I don't know some of the stories. Like, you just got to go into it watching it from a different perspective.
Yeah, something different.
Okay,
that's
so this
pay-per-view
match
that you watch for work rate. You're like, if you're a nerd for like catch as catch can chain wrestling, guys doing like kicking out 50 times, like this is the type of pay-per-view you want to watch.
So this match had it was a ladder match for the vacant TNT Championship because Adam Copeland got hurt in that cage match against Malachi Black. So it was Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, Jack Perry, Leo Rush, Dante Martin, and El Phantasmo. I would say the first spot that made me be like, what the fuck, was Takeshita was laying on a table with a ladder on top of him. Mark Briscoe jumps from a chair over the rope.
This was crazy.
Front flips and lands on Takeshita.
Yeah.
And Takeshita just looked like, what the fuck?
Dude, he hit him so hard. Like, the impact was like crazy. It made me and Andy laugh, and not like a different, not in a disrespectful way, more like the shock.
Just like when someone hits someone so hard.
Yeah, like the shock factor of it, where we were like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
we had to like rewind it and like watch it again because it was like so crazy.
Yeah, Takeshita, I think, is just like, I feel like every match he's in that he gets time to do whatever he wants to is great.
Look, and I know I'm always like, I make jokes like, I'm like, who? And like all that. Dude, Takeshita's sick, dude. He deserves better, honestly. Yeah. I think he could be a main event. He could be a main eventer up there with Swerve and some of those other guys. Soon.
I think so.
I think he's ready.
Also, I thought, didn't Leo Rush like retire like 3 times?
Dude, I told Andy, I said, why the fuck is this guy here?
He was like in AEW like for like a month, and then he retired, I thought, and then he came back like not too long ago.
I don't know if you guys know this, he actually charged every fan $5 to say hello to them on the way to the ring.
Didn't Mark Briscoe have another spot with the ladder on the outside? Also, let's talk about the ladders in this match compared to WWE.
They were
ladders.
Just straight up Home Depot and Lowe's ladders. They spray.
Yeah,
you could see it. I could see.
Yeah, they spray paint it. They always.
And then who did the Tiger Bomb?
It's funny that a couple of the ladders that like it's like the last minute they didn't have time to spray paint them. There was like a couple like rando ones.
They're like, just throw them out there.
They're like, yeah, just more.
The Tiger Bomb.
That's the one with the table spot that Tim was talking about. The Tiger Bomb to Phantasmo.
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever
Phantasmo?
Who took that move, they got fucked up.
El Phantasmo. Yeah, Takeshita to El Phantasmo did it.
Yeah.
Dude.
But like I know he went through the table like very dangerously, but like the table breaking and like everything about that, I was like, holy shit.
It looked incredible. I've just never. One of my fears when I watch wrestling is I always used to be like, God, wouldn't it suck if you hit like the hard part of the table, like where the legs are, and like this was like the first time ever. I was like, oh my God.
Well, like the tables that they use in New Japan are like solid tables.
Well, yeah, they don't
break really.
When Kenny and Jericho had that match,
just like slide off.
Yeah, dude. When I think Jericho gave Kenny or vice versa, one of the two, but they gave each other a pile driver.
Yeah,
and the table like didn't even break; it just like tipped over and they fell off.
So I'm realizing right now, and at some point where was it? At some point I skipped it, or we haven't hit it yet, but it's not on my list. Well, I got to say, Jack Perry would end up being the winner, who all three of us called, by the way.
Yeah, that was the right move, too.
But before the Jericho match, we had Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, it's on that.
Not on my list.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that match?
Look, whether you're not a fan of Orange Cassidy or not, that's one thing, but every time I see him in one of these matches, whether it's Will Ospreay or I don't remember who he faced at the first Forbidden Door, or maybe Ospreay
Will Ospreay was the first one.
Nah, I don't remember who he faced at the second then. But
yeah,
he impresses me every time. He kept up with Zack Sabre Jr. in this one. I did one.
Zack Sabre Jr. after this also was like, if you don't think Orange Cassidy,
I got him on press conference. I wanted to play what he said. And I don't know if it's going to get to the part where he's like, if you're not a fan of Orange Cassidy or think he's like bad, he's like, you're a fucking idiot. So
yeah. Okay, but that's the thing. All right, I'm gonna
maybe the character's not for me, but
I'm gonna play devil's asshole one more time.
Okay.
All right, and this is coming from one of the best ever. AJ Styles, the gay community. He said he said that it's not the moves. Anybody can do the moves. It's the in-between stuff. It's the psychology. So Orange Cassidy can do all the moves, but there's something
That's why
there
he
that
shines at a pay-per-view like this without stories.
because he can do the moves. But
Yeah.
outside of
Yeah.
that, there's nothing about him that draws me in to want to be invested.
So
Yeah, I would say.
Go on.
Sorry, I was going to say I would say that's true to a point, but also I don't really believe that everyone can do the moves because like the people who can, like AJ Styles himself and like
MJF
Orange
pulls shit
Cassidy.
out of his ass all the time. Where I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I
I'm like not
forget that he
everyone.
could do it.
Not everyone can do that.
But MJF, on another side is the
Says, I
perfect
don't have to
example
do
of that.
the move.
He can do the moves,
Yeah.
but he's like, I barely got to do anything to get you guys talking, and to get you guys
Yeah.
to be, like.
All right, here's Zack Sabre Jr.
To be honest, there was like no challenge because Orange Cassidy is one of the most unique pro wrestlers, like in all of pro wrestling. And I mean, whether it's stubbornness, but like my entire sort of motivation since I started wrestling 20 years ago was to try and wrestle as true to myself in the way that like I feel is what it's not what I think pro wrestling should be, it's like what I want to be as a pro wrestler. So in that sense, it was quite liberating because that match could only be the match that we were going to wrestle. I didn't feel any sort of pressure on trying to bend to other expectations. I'm very happy with the match. I think that's what it should have been. And also, I feel like it's not I don't think that story is ended because, I mean, everyone should have known how skilled Orange Cassidy was. Like, he wasn't just keeping up with me. He was outdoing me on multiple occasions. And then just luckily, I'm the best technical wrestler in the world. So I got him in the end, but it was a little bit dicey a couple of times.
And then I don't know the exact part where he's like, if you don't think Orange Cassidy's good, he's like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But
Didn't he also say something about wrestling Danielson again for the third time?
He says later on that says that he thinks they have to have one more.
He like looks at Tony Khan, and Tony Khan's like,
He's like, maybe in England.
yeah.
Anything to say about all that, Tim? I saw you go like this when he's like, I don't wrestle. He's like, I wrestle the kind of wrestler I want to be, not what I think or whatever. I saw you go.
I can relate to it, and
I mean, Zack Sabre Jr. is unique compared to everyone else. He might be the best technical wrestler out there.
I'm trying to think of the best way to describe this here. I can see his point of view because from a music perspective, sometimes that bands that maybe aren't liked by mainstream people are better than the bands that are actually like big. So he's like, I like what I like. He's good. Like, I can understand his taste being like, look, Orange Cassidy's good, and just because you don't like him doesn't mean that he's not good. And he's probably better than your favorite wrestler in the ring.
It's a good way to put it, though.
I respect it. It's just not for me. Let's leave it at that. So that way we're not like, I'm not trying to like bury the guy.
So yeah, sorry about having to go back on that. That was 2 matches ago from the ladder match that we were talking about. But Jack Perry is the new TNT champion. After that, TBS Championship and NJPW Strong Women's Championship winner would become
one of the best matches.
It's very good. Mercedes Moné versus Stephanie Vaquer. Winner was Mercedes Moné. Dude, I think the people in the audience, if they hadn't seen Stephanie wrestle, they quickly became fans. And also, I'll say in this match, I thought Stephanie did fucking awesome. She crushed it. Mercedes did very well. Also, I think Stephanie, though, showed people that didn't know her, like, oh, I'm someone to watch for and watch their matches. I told Tim, I hate when people do this, when the crowd hijacks and they started chanting, like, fuck the Celtics, in the middle of this match. I know the Celtics.
It's a Long Island crowd, though.
They won the NBA Finals, but it's just like, and then they started booing Mercedes because I guess she's from Boston, and I'm just like,
no, they were saying fuck the Celtics because she's from Boston. She was at the Celtics game too.
But then the guy stood up and he's like, I'm wearing a Celtics jersey or shirt, and then people were just like, pointing at him, and just I don't know.
But maybe that's also just because Long Island is New York, and they do that in MSG as well. If there's a Boston person, so.
Anyway, the match was very, very good. We did predict, though. I mean, this was one of the better matches on the card. We did predict Mercedes was going to win, and then, like I said in the beginning of talking about the pay-per-view, I predicted something. I'm sure a lot of people could have predicted it too. As Mercedes is celebrating, I'm like, come on, Britt Baker. Her music hit. Britt Baker comes out, just stands at the top of the ramp.
The crowd goes crazy.
So, all in? Mercedes versus Britt, TBS Championship?
I think it kind of has to be. They can't do it before then.
But I was telling Tim, I was like, with her away, and maybe I've said it in the past while she's been gone, I'm like, something just always feels like it's missing when she's not around in the women's division.
Yeah, especially for AEW, she feels like she's like the what do you call it, the standard or whatever.
She was the best part of the women's division in the beginning when the women's division was like growing. And she was actually one of the few that I really liked her character and what
she was like the first one that really got over for the women's division.
She's a pillar of the women's division for sure. I mean, there's not really any other ones that are super relevant like she is from the early women's division.
I mean, yeah, I agree.
So I'm excited that they're gonna do, because Mercedes was like in the press conference, and then some bitch wanted to interrupt my celebration.
I was like,
some bitch.
I was like, God,
talking about Britt. So I'm excited for that. But Mercedes, is now double champion. I mean, walking into this match, Stephanie was a triple champion, so now she's a double champion. But
she should be signed to
I wish.
Someone
she's
afterwards.
Awesome. She's really good. Okay, where are we? IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match: Jon Moxley versus Naito. I didn't think the match was great.
No, I mean it's another thing where like Naito is a little bit older as well, and I don't feel like Moxley does great with older wrestlers because he's not like a huge agile guy either, and just the way that he wrestles. But I kind of like we all.
I didn't think it was anything special.
Yeah, we all saw that Naito was going to win, or whoever Moxley was facing. yeah, they had to get their own title back.
So Naito won, and then fantastic main event. Loved it.
It's the match of the night.
Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay. Me and Tim were locked in. We were locked in.
Locked in.
Just locked into this match.
I mean, you had to be from the first second.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, everything was done. I'm trying to think of spots that stood out. I mean, as always, like Ospreay did a Styles Clash at some point.
They did everything except for shoot each other in the face and hit each other in the head with a kitchen sink. Any other move that you can possibly think of in wrestling was done during this match.
Well, what I really liked is the beginning when they were kept countering each other. You know, like where like the kicks.
Even that part was like, oh shit, here we go.
Like it was smooth. It wasn't like, you know, like choreographed like you can tell sometimes. This was like smooth where like it didn't feel like that.
Towards the end of the match though, because Will is part of the Donkhouse fame, and Donkhouse would come out and hand the infamous screwdriver to Will, which would like distract Will basically because he couldn't decide whether to who is he going to use it on. He grabbed some Prince Nana. Tim got pissed. He's like, "You don't touch Nana."
No one. First of all, you don't touch Nana. You don't touch Nana.
Tim audibly went, "Hey,
stop it!"
You don't touch Nana or his weed.
Yeah. I said my boy's like 60 years old. First of all, you don't touch him.
Is he older?
I think he's like in his 40s or 50s. He's older.
Yeah.
This took place right after, I believe, Will hit the hidden blade on the ref accidentally.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it distracted Will. Swerve was able to get, 2 house calls, and then he went to pin him. Will kicked out. Tim was like, all right, come on. And then Will kind of was like fighting back, but he was like scratching and clawing. And it was kind of like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, like, I'm sorry, I love you, and put him out of his misery. He did one more house call kick to him and pinned him. And I looked at Tim, I was like, what if he kicked out of that one? Tim would have been like, that one, I would have been like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think they knew it would ruin the match if they did that.
But no, I mean, with the distraction ending, it still protects Will. Will did get his first loss in AEW. I think it was the right call, though. I don't think it was time to take the belt off of Swerve. Let's also talk about who they showed. They showed MJF watching backstage, but then they showed Daniel Garcia in the audience, who we couldn't tell who it was at first, and it looked like just some guy with sunglasses. And Tim's over here like,
I said, "Who the fuck is
why
that?"
Why are you just doing it on this random guy?
I did the Conor McGregor. I said, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
We were like, if this is a random guy, he's just looking at the screen like, why the fuck are you looking at me? Right?
He's like, can you like move?
He's like, can you stop zooming in on me?
No, it was Daniel Garcia, and the reason why they showed him is because he has a match with Ospreay for the international title on Wednesday. MJF was watching, because they've been teasing it. Well, Ospreay and MJF, I told Tim, Wembley? Is that where you go?
Didn't they say on Wednesday with MJF and Daniel Garcia, like he was like Wembley, and MJF agreed to that? But I don't know if that's like set in stone. That's just like an idea they have, I think.
Dude, they've been doing the little face-to-face with Will and
I know
and stuff.
Will and MJF, I feel like have to be. Maybe it could be Ospreay, Garcia, and MJF in a triple threat.
Could. By the way, Jeremy, did you see the new episode of Bad Friends today?
I did.
Yesterday. Beans and toast.
Yeah, I know.
He said beans and toast a bunch of times. That's where I get it from, is Andrew Santino saying it all the time.
Yeah. I started cracking up when they said that.
So yeah, Swerve retained. Very, very good match.
Yeah. Did you see the house call on Ospreay, like on the announce table?
Yeah.
Where he jumped off. That was crazy. I don't know how they did that.
Match was awesome. Anything to add to Forbidden Door before we do these predictions? This is a long episode, guys.
Why? Yeah, I was gonna say I actually have to wrap up. If you, I didn't know if you guys want to finish without me or.
Well, I want your opinion real quick on the actual men's Money in the Bank, because it low-key looks like one of the best Money in the Bank men's matches in a while. I'll just get your opinion on just this one. All right, ready? Because we got the final people. It's LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Andrade, and Jey Uso.
Andrade's definitely not winning.
Now, I'll tell you who the betting odds are. The favorite is actually Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. Well, especially what he said last night.
He says he's going to I'll say it. He says he's going to cash in at the end of the night. He's like, I'm walking in, winning the Money in the Bank, and I'm cashing out at the end of the night. Punk's got to fuck him over again.
Yeah.
Or he wins the belt, and then we get Punk versus Drew for the title at SummerSlam.
I would like that.
That'd be cool.
I'm wearing a Punk shirt actually right now too.
I would say
the cover Money in the Bank is Jey Uso, which
I was gonna say it's either gonna be Drew, Jay, or LA Knight.
Nah, you LA also going with Logan Paul in United States Championship at SummerSlam for sure.
Yeah.
Tim, if you want to wrap up, me and Jeremy can finish though.
Yeah, I gotta roll out because I did tell my wife I was gonna be out at 10, and it is now 10:15 here our time. And Andy and I did start at 8:30, so yeah, this has been a long episode.
Tim started early. Jeremy will take the end.
But super glad to be here. Love talking wrestling with you guys, and I will be back next week. Let these guys wrap up.
We'll cover Money in the Bank and the WrestleMania documentary.
Cool. Sounds good.
So me and Jeremy will finish. Goodbye, Tim. All right. So, yeah, who's your pick for Money in the Bank?
I
I really thought Jey Uso, and then Drew got into it, and then I saw what the betting odds were, and I was like,
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Drew, but also my other prediction is that Chad Gable will look like he's about to win it, and then the lights go out,
Yeah.
and then they go and attack him. Actually,
Okay. Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker.
yeah, this is for the title, right?
Sami's minus 110 and Braun is minus 130. There's really no
Damn.
clear favorite. I'm
And
just
also,
going Braun,
like,
dude. Going Braun.
like last night though, like Sammy got him too.
I know. That I love last night's segment. I can't wait to talk about it real quick, but next week. But
I don't know. I'm going with Sammy still. I think they're
right.
not going to take it off him yet.
I'm going Braun. Bloodline. Solo, Tama, and Jacob Fatu versus Cody, Kevin, and Randy. I'm going Bloodline.
Bloodline. They have to build him up, I think.
Or just Roman.
And then Roman. Yeah.
No, I don't think Roman's coming back yet. There. Roman's got to come back soon, though, and defend his.
I know,
wise
SummerSlam.
Man. Defend the wise man. What happened? What's next? Women's Money in the Bank. We have the full lineup: Io Sky, Lyra Valkyria, Naomi, Zoe Stark, Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton is the favorite, and I'm sticking with it as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say she out of all of those, like I feel like is a clear winner.
She should.
I don't see any other women's wrestler being. Yeah.
And all right, main event: Damian Priest, Seth Rollins.
This is a tough one. I feel like it's gonna be
if Seth wins. Does Damian leave the Judgment Day, but then gets cashed in on, or does Damian win, and then Drew cashes in on Damian like Damian cashed in on Drew, a little payback? Or, all right, I'm going because I want Finn to cost him the title.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think Finn costs him either he costs him the title or like Damian wins and then Finn like turns on him, and then Drew cashes in.
So who are you picking?
Oh fuck.
I wonder if I can find the Ringside News Money in the Bank.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Damian winning and then Drew cashing in.
Let's see. They have Damian winning as the favorite as well.
Yeah, so I think he wins, but I think he loses it right after.
So Bloodline, yeah, Bloodline is a big favorite to win. So you think he wins, but then Drew cashes in?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
How sweet would it be though?
That'd be amazing.
You got to remember that Gunther has next at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam, I mean, Drew and Gunther then.
No, man, this is what's happening. It's gonna be Gunther and Damian. All right, at SummerSlam, Drew's gonna try to cash in, and Punk fucks up the cash in. Punk said he will never be champion while he's breathing.
That's true.
Drew can't get the belt.
Oh, that's right.
Book it.
He could even do it this show then. Like Drew says he wants to cash in. If he wins, he'll try to cash in and Punk will screw him over again.
He says he's going to cash in that Money in the Bank. He's like, I'm leaving Money in the Bank with the belt. Punk fucks up the cash in. He's like, I told you. You'll never be champion while I'm breathing. That's what's happening. I'm sticking to it.
That's crazy. And is this? Do you know is this on a Saturday or Sunday?
This is Saturday. Money in the Bank.
Oh, perfect. Cool.
Tomorrow is the WrestleMania doc at 7 on YouTube.
Cool.
So Tim is not here. No classic show of the week. I just say if you haven't been watching the biographies that A&E puts on, those are real cool to watch. I said at the beginning of the show, Jeremy, right before we started recording, I was in the middle of watching the newest biography, which is the Steiner Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
So that, speaking of Braun Breaker.
I just watched there's a clip I was on Twitter, and it was like Scott Steiner and was it Bubba Ray? When Steiner was like, he's like, I get freaks 9 days out of the week. And Bubba Ray's like, there's only 7 days of the week.
Classic Scott. So that'll do it this week. Thank you for listening to episode 135. Again, follow us on all social medias at the PW Fan. And that'll do it. Next week, can't wait to talk about Money in the Bank and the WrestleMania Behind the Curtain documentary. So until then, next week's episode 136. Bye-bye, guys.